Hi, Henrik Knudsen here again. Okay, we left off with Lottes Dasu Innovation Diamond. Now I want to move to another aspect, which is we'll be working with tomorrow, which is the innovation space. This is on so let's go to it through the link and hopefully it up. Here we have it's concerning innovation strategy, and this is the first of several innovation models. So if we want to innovate, which framework can we put it into? Which model can we use? 4Ps is one of them. And essentially it says, well, we're going to be entrepreneurial. We're going to be entrepreneurial. We're going to move along the S-curve. We're going to make a new S-curve. So Tête say, what is it we want to do? Do you want to do something better, or do you want to do something different? From the center and out. In the center, moving out, we can make small incremental changes. If we move all the way out, it's radical. So we can change our product or service. And then we can change the position, i.e. the customers that we are addressing and the way we're using to address them. We can change product or service and the processes behind it. The processes, so we can optimize the processes. This is an ongoing work in all organizations. Or we can completely change the existing processes. Bang & Olufsen, they're moving into using much more robots in the assembly process. So they're optimizing on the processes there. Some will be apparent to the customers and some may not. Then finally, the most difficult one is the paradigm, the mental models that we're working with towards our customers. There is some examples here, and I would like you to reflect on them and see if you agree. And if in doubt, if you have any questions, feel free to send them or bring them with you tomorrow. We'll be working with this model. So let's have a look at the model that I've presented on the slides. This is the 4Ps. The reason I'm using it as a link and as a slide is here you have the literature that you can find it in. There is a mistake in the illustration here. Radical being towards the center. It should be incremental in the center, and then the further out you go, it gets radical, as shown here, here, and here. But again, the literature and we're working with innovating on the product, innovating on the position, customers, the way we're addressing customers, innovating on the processes, the way we're procuring, making our products and services, or the mental model that we're working with. Okay, read the examples, and we'll take it a step further tomorrow. Next in line is this from Trot Innovation Management, New Product Development. We have in the center here, we have an innovation process model. I'm not quite sure about it because I don't quite believe that it's so stage gate active. It's much more iterative, where you have to get back, refine your ideas, even in the manufacturing. But that's not the main point. The main point I want you to recognize is connecting to the incremental radical question that I want you to consider. There's two options. One is that we develop some technology and push it out to our customers. The initial iPhone was a technology push. So this was a design and technology that Jobs and company wanted to put out and say this is what the customers want. Since Then there's been a market pull to different areas. But it's very important when you're working with entrepreneurship to distinguish between a technology push, or if you say you have some needs in society that are pulling towards new ideas. Could be towards elder, could be towards more sustainable aspects. There's a market push. So the important part of this is recognizing these two: technology push or market pull. The next will just be some repetition, so just use a minute or two to go through it and then finish off with the questions I want you to reflect on for tomorrow, plus your own questions, of course. Segmentation. Here we have some criteria for segmentation. They have to be measurable, the segments have to be contactable, they have to be substantial, big enough that it's worth pursuing, attractive and differentiated. One of the tools for that we use towards different segments is the marketing mix. You've heard all this, so this is just repetition. Geographic, demographic, psychographic. Geographic segmentation. Lots of different options, you know them all too well yourself. Demographic segmentation, you know those as well. Psychographic and segmentation. You can click in here, get your free membership, and answer some of the questions. They're quite okay. They make a check whether you've understood the psychographic segmentation question. Why am I doing this repetition? I'm doing this repetition because it's important when we're identifying the position in the previous model, the innovation, the 4 P's of innovation space. So the position, which segments are we addressing? But there's also a lot of other questions that can be addressed through the reasoning of segmentation. And this is my point. Segmentation benefits. We could ask the different segmentations to identify what they need. Market pool, what is it we need? And that way develop new products and services. We want to see where we can meet them, which media. We want to increase our market share. We want to increase the number of purchases that each individual customer has. So what are we going for? We're going for an increase in output, but is it through an increased market share, or is it the existing customers that we want to buy more? It has some consequences for the innovation project and how we're positioning us. Reflect on it, reflect on the other aspects here, and then we can move to this aspect, which is very much to do with customer perceived value and value proposition. So that we have a core product or service, which is here. But then we can add on some product attributes: brand, image, quality, design, packaging, price. And finally, we can put in some support services. In that way, this helps us in the segmentation. This is a refinement of the 7 P's. So we can go through the different steps when we're being innovative, either as entrepreneurs within an organization, or we're working together in collaboration with other organizations in entrepreneurship. It's not always changing the core product that is actually what the customers want. They often more and more buy on the basis of attributes or support services. So previously the purchase was based on functional features. More and more it's moving upwards towards brand, image, packaging, country of origin, sustainability, could put that in also. Staff behaviour, the polite, and the support services, the understanding that is behind the product. Perhaps you know Simon Sinek, the Golden Circle. Yes, no, please answer it. Otherwise, check it out. This also gives us an possibilities to make our organization unique. If we're just developing on this, the ability to copy is great. Whereas the more we're able to move up and differentiate ourselves in these areas, the more difficult it is for competitors to copy us, and the easier it is for us to make ourselves a unique image in the eyes of the customer, the segments. Oops, I forgot one thing. Concerning segments, reflect on my challenge here. Is technology developing? So we're not, this segmentation is down to the individual. We're able, with technology, we're able to pinpoint each individual person and make them a potential segment, or even grade them as potentials for any company's product or service. So is all this segmentation with large groups, just going through it, that they're measurable? Is this going down to an individual level, or should we still work with segments? That's a question I want you to ponder on for tomorrow. Finally, what is it I want you to come up with? I want you to come up with an entrepreneurial idea. This is on one of the very first slides. I want you to consider what competencies, what is it that constitutes competencies? Which aspects? How would you define competencies to me? Incremental or radical innovation, what are the differences? How do they differ? This is, for example, in innovation space. It hits with the incremental, radical, incremental in the center, radical moving further out on the product, position, process, and paradigm. Then I want 3 questions concerning text or your reflections. And that is all for now. Thank you. Oops. See you tomorrow. Thank you.